Hi there, this is a little self-help video for all you shoulder dippers in Chaturanga. I'm a reformed shoulder dipper, so I'm very passionate about this. And shoulder dipping in Chaturanga looks like the shoulders being lower than the elbows, as you can see here. The correct position for Chaturanga is actually the shoulders in line with the elbows and the forearms are vertical. So it's a very challenging position to correctly master, and especially a challenging one for women. So hopefully you can pick up a few tips here and prevent some injury, or maybe even preventing what happened to me, which was that I got footballer's neck, as in the trapezius built up so much that I ended up with not much of a neck at all. And that was from my years of Ashtanga practice and doing the movement incorrectly. And Vinyasa has become such a popular style, and it's still, I feel like it's not instructed correctly, and most practitioners and teachers go through it at breakneck speed without really any refinement. So hopefully you can learn here how to engage the upper back muscles correctly, and that means that you don't have to rely on your arm strength, which we as women don't generally have as much of. So the first engagement is to draw the shoulder blades towards each other. And as you squeeze the shoulder blades towards the spine, you're using the rhomboids, but you'll also notice that there's this compression across the chest and narrowing through the collarbones. So the correct activation is actually, if you imagine your shoulder blades here, the tips of the shoulder blades come in and the top of the shoulder blades fan out, so that as you take that movement, you can feel a broadening across the chest there, but still that engagement through the upper back. And another classic instruction that's given is squeeze your elbows in. So as you squeeze your elbows in Chaturanga, again, it creates this compression here, when instead you want expansion and broadening as we sit through our desk and driving enough in this slouch position. We want to engage through the upper back. The next movement is to stabilize the scapula or the shoulder blade. So if you just hold one arm out and extend the arm away from you, and you'll feel the shoulder blade actually come forward. So what we want to do is try and get the rhomboids again, so engaging the shoulder blade back towards the spine, but then have that same energy of pressing forward. But what happens is, rather than the shoulder blade coming forward, so it's serratus anterior here, bringing the shoulder blade forward, as we resist isometrically, then it's going to cause the shoulder blade to just flatten onto the rib cage. So you've got this far more contained and powerful back muscles doing the work for you. The other movement is to keep the head of the arm bone back or lifted. So rather than the head of the shoulder or arm bone dropping down, you try and keep that lifted as well. And another great way to practice with that, or a way to practice with that, is to work with a block, and to make sure that you practice Chaturanga and don't dip onto the block. So if you touch the block, you realize that you've gone too far. You're better to simply hover above the block. Another way that can be helpful to practice is to bring your pubic bone onto the block. This is somewhat a restorative yoga, a restorative Chaturanga position. And you can simply work on engaging the upper back muscles there. Another way that you could practice is up against the, pressing the hands into the wall. So it's helpful to have that ability to engage and then receive that energy back. So you engage through the hands into the wall or the floor, and then receive back into the upper back and the shoulders. It's far easier to learn this correctly from the beginning. I know that my process of relearning took a long time and a lot of commitment. For me, I was lucky that I just ended up with a footballer's neck. Some people can get rotator cuff injuries, and it's turning out to be quite a common injury these days in the yoga circles. So rotator cuff injury takes a long time to rehabilitate. So 3 words for you yogis: don't do it. Don't dip the shoulders in Chaturanga. Try and keep the shoulders back and stay strong through the upper back, open through the collarbones. Namaste to you. I'm Vanessa Rudge from Being Yoga in Australia.